Hello, my name is Yvonne Edwards, and this is for 103 Flex Course. This is my audience for my persuasive speech. Imagine you're in a classroom and you hear gunshots and screams. No guns are allowed on campus, so all you can do as a law-abiding citizen is cower in fear and horror, knowing that if the shooter decides to come into your classroom, you and your classmates are next. I imagine that is what the students at Virginia Tech felt. They tried to barricade the doors and climb out windows. 3 people were shot through the doors while trying to barricade them. They heard the gunshots, they heard the screams, and they felt the fear and the horror. Students and staff in universities are sitting ducks if they are not armed to protect themselves. Having a no guns allowed policy is not going to stop a shooter whose intent is to kill. Robert Birnbaum, a professor of higher education at the University of Maryland, writes, "Announcing your campus is gun-free is a reckless invitation to psychopaths." That sign is telling law-abiding citizens that no guns are allowed. And I say law-abiding citizens because they are the only ones who will obey that sign. What effect does banning guns have? None. It has none. No effect. Vanderbilt University, who bans guns, has a protocol in their university, which other universities are incorporating as well. In case of a mass shooter, run, hide, or fight. So a psychopath who's intent on shooting up the university doesn't care if guns are allowed. They're not going to obey that sign. Ban on guns doesn't stop anyone who wants to shoot up a school. A psychopath or mentally unstable person certainly doesn't care. Of course, you can run, but you have a target on your back. You can hide. But where in a classroom can 30-plus students hide? You can fight. But unless you are coming up from behind in a surprise attack, a student won't have much of a chance against a gun. Good luck making it out alive. We can't outrun bullets. As you can see, banning guns from universities will not make the situation any safer. Kate, who is a criminologist and constitutional lawyer, and Malzer, who is a criminologist and also holds a PhD, stated, in reference to banning guns in the United Kingdom, "The ban's ineffectiveness was such that by the year 2000, crime had so increased that England and Wales had Europe's highest crime rate. It was far surpassing even the United States." And that was them eliminating guns and weapons. Maybe this is what we have to look forward to here in the States as well. Therefore, we know the signs won't stop a shooter. But what will? Well, the shooter can shoot themselves, but they usually don't do that until their work is done. Now, Eugene Volokh, who writes for the Washington Post, has a list of recent gunmen being shot. An Uber driver with a concealed carry permit shot and wounded a gunman who opened fire on a crowd of people. In a Philadelphia barber shop, Warren Edwards opened fire on customers and barbers and was shot and wounded by another man with a carry concealed permit. In a hospital in Philadelphia, Richard Platz shot and killed the caseworker and ruined his psychiatrist, Lee Silverman. Silverman shot back, saved his life. And lists like these go on. In these true scenarios, someone had a gun, shot back, and lives were saved. The best and cost-efficient way would be to arm and train the staff to protect the students. Universities have many concerns about students carrying guns. Students are not trained for crises such as a mass shooting. Legume, who's an author of article Good Guy with a Gun, says that in the Umpqua Community College shooting that John Parker Jr., who was a veteran and student at UCC, revealed that he was in the campus building with a handgun when all these shootings started. He suggested other students with him at the time were also carrying concealed handguns. But Parker didn't get involved, and neither did the other students. The SWAT teams had arrived, and he was worried he was going to be viewed as a bad guy, so he never used his weapon. So the concerns about students carrying guns on campus is that they are overstressed, already susceptible for suicide, and are frequently involved with alcohol. Alcohol and guns don't mix. Untrained students could accidentally shoot an innocent or freeze up, or even be viewed as the bad guy. During a mass shooting, too many people could have a gun. And it's hard to tell what's what if that happens. There's chaos. Therefore, hiring more officers and purchasing metal detectors are expensive, and they contribute to the chaos as well. What's interesting is that according to Kimberly Heffling, who's a writer with the Associated Press, many schools now have elaborate school safety plans and more metal detectors, surveillance cameras, and fences. There's been no real reduction in the number of U.S. school shootings despite the increased security put in place after the rampage at Connecticut's Sandy Hook Elementary School back in December of 2012. So not every school will be a victim of a mass shooter, but universities need to be prepared just in case. Hiring extra trained officers and installing body scanners will cause chaos and be expensive. And it won't prevent a shooting from happening. If someone wants to get a gun in there, they're going to sneak it in. They're going to find some way to get a gun in there. It's going to happen. So since eliminating the guns won't stop a shooter, arming staff can. It should be made a requirement of all staff in charge of a classroom of students, no matter what the students' ages are. The students are going to class and they are expecting to leave alive. Armed and trained staff can help that happen. So, in conclusion, administrative staff at universities should be trained to protect the students. They can have a recertification training every 6 months where they practice shooting a gun and get instruction. The universities won't have just anyone roaming the halls with a gun. That's what they're all against with anyways. And it gives students and staff a fighting chance. If a university has a sign that says, "No guns allowed on campus," but university 9 miles away has a sign that says the campus is armed and trained, which campus do you think that shooter would pick? Which campus would you rather be a student at if it happened? Had the staff in these schools been armed, most of these students would be alive today. I don't want to be a victim. Students and staff in universities are sitting ducks if they are not armed to protect themselves.